Viva Beleza.
Martin, so nice to have you again. What are we going to do today?
Well, it's great to be back, and what I'm going to do today is take you through one of the looks that I find popular at the moment, which is ragging the hair, creating curls through wrapping material into the hair. And doesn't take that long to do. You just need a dryer, some material, and the right products, and then you've got the look. So the ragging that we're going to do is something that's been done for many, many years, hundreds of years in fact. And I think the reason it's called ragging now is during the 30s and 40s, people would just strip material up and cut it into lengths and then use it for curling the hair. And that's what we're going to do today. They're about 2 to 3 inches wide, and then the length will just vary according to the length of hair that you're working on. So we're going to start by parting the hair slightly further over, and then quite simply we'll take our first section for the ragging. It's a fairly large section, as you can see, and we're taking it back to just before the crown. We're going to put a little bit of moisture mist, which is our light conditioner, and then some thermal design spray. So that's obviously our thermal spray protectant, and that will add softness and then a bit of body at the same time so that we can get some movement in this hair. I'm then going to start twisting. Then I'm just going to grab one of my rags and I'm going to put it into the hair through the center of the rag, and then I'm going to fold it together. Then I want to make sure that these ends get curled, so I'm going to curl those first, because otherwise we'll get straight ends jutting out, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that the curl is consistent. And then once I've got some tension there, I can just twist these with my fingers and quite simply work up to the top. Now, at the front I'm working to the top because I want curl to move straight from the front area. As I want the movement to be softer in the back, then I'm going to drop the curl down, but we'll see that as we move through. Okay, so we're moving on to our second section. As you get to your ends, if they're a little bit dry, just put a little bit of moisture in. And so with the sides, I'm only going to do these two, and they're both quite close because there's less hair obviously in front of the ear than there is in the back, and so we want the curl to sit all the way down here, whereas we're going to let it be softer through the back area. As I move into the back, again I'm going to take a fairly large section. You'll decide by the thickness of the hair what you want as a section. You can feel it and decide how much movement you want. You can see I'm dragging this down from the crown because I don't want curl to be all the way up. Underneath that one, I'm going to do one more section which will go to the nape of the neck. Okay, the underneath one I'm going to work up closer to the top because I want this to support the looseness of the one on top of it. Working through into the center of the back now, I think if I look at this, 3 would be nice because I can get that little bit more of a lift underneath where we want it to support the actual hairdo. These sections don't have to be accurately split across, so it's mainly a feeling. I'm not going to drop this down, I'm going to hold it high because I want to get a nice lot of lift right into the fringe area. Now, remember you can twist both ways. I'm going to do this one under as opposed to over, which we did before. The reason is I just want a little bit of lift under the front. So the rest of these I'm just going to follow the same pattern, turning them under. And again, that's optional. If you're working in a salon situation with a blow dryer, you can use a diffuser and start to dry this off. If you're working with a hood dryer, you can just put it on. If you don't have a diffuser, you can always pop a net over the hair and then just use your dryer so that you're not blowing the hair around. Okay, so once we've allowed the hair to dry, you want to let it cool down a little bit so that it's nice and cool, which will allow the curl to take its natural form. Then we're quite simply going to undo. You can see for a short time you get a nice lot of spring in the hair. And if you look to the side, you can see it's a really nice wave. Just make sure it's untwisted, and then we're just going to rake through with our fingers. And as you work through, you can just push with your fingers to push the curl up. I'm using a little designer spray, which is our working spray. Just means that I can work with the hair as I move along. And now as I untwist this, remember we did this higher, and you can see the way this falls over the eye. It's a very sexy, soft curl. Using a little silk finish spray, and then just to give that dusting of shine, just some Brilliant Defense, which will just give a light shine to the hair.
Viva Beleza.